Alrighty, good evening, everyone. Nice looking day out there today. Many of you woke up to a little dusting of snow on the ground. In some cases, that melted. In many cases, it stuck around, especially in the shady areas. Starting to feel like winter, isn't it? We're tracking temperatures running in the 20s and teens for lows tonight. In fact, some inland towns will probably be in the single numbers. We'll look at that in a moment. The bigger story, I think, will be a late week storm. Everything seems to be pretty much on track for a storm that will affect us and have big impacts, I think, for Friday into Saturday. It looks like most of the action will be Friday through about midday or early afternoon Saturday. It looks to be the first real widespread plowable snow for a large portion of the state. With that said, it looks like a rain snow line is probably going to develop somewhere along the coastal plain. It's 4 days out. It's impossible to determine where and when that's going to set up. We'll run through some of the scenarios. Wind may become an issue, and that will be Friday night. And it looks like things will start to improve for Saturday afternoon and more so on Sunday. So let's waste no time and take a look at what we have out there tonight. We have, first of all, thanks for joining us on Facebook Live and also, Twitter and YouTube, all sorts of platforms tonight. Notice the snow on the rooftops and in the parking lots in Lewiston, and notice how the sun kind of melted a lot of that in the darker surfaces at least. It was nice to see that with a deep blue sky from our Lewiston Skycam. This is the scene from our Raymond Skycam today. We had a sunset this evening at 4 minutes past 4 o'clock. Tonight's sunset was 6 seconds later than last night. So we're at that part of the season. Earliest sunset of the year was last Friday. And tomorrow's sunset is actually 9 seconds later than tonight's sunset. So the rate of sunrise is still getting later and later. So the shortest day of the year is the solstice, the 21st. But I don't care about that. I'm only awake for that sunset. So I'm only keeping an eye on that. So I guess I'm a little biased when it comes to the sunrise sunsets. Although I love the sunrises as well. But as far as sunsets go, yeah, they're getting later. All right, satellite radar shows a interesting setup. We have nothing but clear sky out there. Throughout Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, not much going on. There is, however, an area of low pressure well off to our east. Some of that is actually going to pivot back west. And, sometimes you see a storm in that position, you say, okay, this one's moving out into the North Atlantic and will not affect us. But this one will probably bring a little surface trough right up in here back into our area on Wednesday. So Wednesday is our next chance for maybe getting a rain or snow shower. It shouldn't be a big deal. Notice how this area of low pressure does a little loop-de-loop for us for the next couple of days. Tomorrow, we'll see a lot of sun. It's a little breezy. Wednesday, the wind picks up even more. We'll get some gusts around 30 miles per hour. And there's that round of rain and snow showers drifting across southern and central Maine. That's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The wind is going to be cranking as well. We'll get some gusts around 30 miles per hour. So this will not be a big storm system or anything, but don't be surprised to see some flakes, maybe a few raindrops near the coast, but it's not going to last very long. I think the bigger story, if you work outdoors, you just got to dress for the wind. Temperatures tomorrow will be in the mid-30s, upper 30s to near 40 on Wednesday. I think low 40s will be common on Thursday with a lot of clouds. Here we go with the storm tracker. This takes us into the day tomorrow, 7 a.m. We're out of the gates with temps running in the upper teens to near 20. If the wind drops off tonight, there will be some areas in the single numbers. Mid-30s for highs tomorrow. It's a bit of a stiff northerly wind during the afternoon. We'll get some gusts 20 to 25 miles per hour. It's not extreme, but overall, I think a decent looking day. Our next round of scattered rain and snow showers will be that feature that we just talked about. That's kind of shaped like a banana. There it is, kind of rotating through to our south, from north to south, I should say, at 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And again, it's a little windy as well. Wednesday, that might be the only real complaint. It's a little gusty. After that, we're going to focus our attention on this late week storm, and the time frame for that is going to be Friday into Saturday. And it's not only just the rain and the snow that we're talking about. I don't know what's a bigger deal, that the fact that we have a storm later in the week, or that we have a few good shots of cold with the potential for 3 storms or multiple storms even before Christmas. And that is on the table as well. I would not be shocked to see maybe another weaker storm mid next week, and maybe around New Year's Eve too. There could be a more powerful storm around that time frame as well. The bottom line here is the pattern is active with a lot of cold and the potential for a few storm systems over the next 2-3 weeks here. There is a cold stretch that we'll be watching here. There's 2 distinct shots of cold air that will be moving in to the United States. I don't think we're going to be seeing the extreme here in the Northeast, but you mark my words, I think a large portion of the U.S., the leading national headlines, will be the cold really for the next couple of weeks here. This is late on Friday here. It's during that period there will be a storm in the Northeast. One shot of cold comes in and moves out. Another reinforcing shot of cold. This is the real deal here. And that will be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week, diving right up into the northern and central plains. And that is going to have a firm grip on the nation eventually going into late next week and probably right around the holiday here. All right, this is probably what you wanted to see. If you're clicking on Facebook Live, you're probably wondering, hey, Charlie, what's the status on that storm system you've been talking about for what seems to be a week now? I think last week we were talking about the fact that, hey, we need to keep an eye on this late week storm for this week. And to be honest with you, nothing really has changed. It's still too early to determine how much snow we're going to get, but everything seems to be on the table for a pretty sizable storm. The first plowable snow is on the table for most of the state of Maine. Some strong gusty winds. With that said, though, there probably will be a rain snow line associated with that. With that sort of track, with the track of the area of low pressure you see to our south, that would bring a rain snow line right into the coastal plain, which you really need for a storm system to bring a real blockbuster snow event all the way to the coast. Would be that storm to maybe be 50 miles to the east. And that would bring more of a widespread cold. There's not a ton of cold on the front end of this either. So that one has me a little skeptical that, I don't think at this point we're looking at a crippling snowstorm at the coastline here. Farther inland, though, a much different scenario could be playing out. With this storm system evolving this way, we would probably see a pretty good thump of snow on the front end at some point Friday. Maybe starting as a little bit of rainfall. I could see some rain at the coast, flipping over to snow, and then going back to rain at some point. On a Monday, it's impossible to tell. So I just urge folks to just keep an eye on the storm and plan on an impactful weather event for Friday going through probably midday or early afternoon Saturday. Now, I am watching Saturday pretty closely because I have some plans I want to attend to. And it looks as if the second part of Saturday may be better than the first half. So hopefully this thing trucks right along for selfish purposes here for Saturday. There's some forecast model guidance suggesting it may linger throughout the entire day Saturday. And again, this is something we're watching. Its track will determine what type of precipitation to expect. So with this track, with this intensity that we're looking at here, will be a storm that will bring some rain and snow into the area. A rain snow line develops along the coastal plain. With farther inland, our greatest chance for probably seeing a half foot to a foot of snow will be inland and mountains. This could be a really big storm system for the mountains where the ski resorts really need this to get things going for the holiday here going forward. Going into the Christmas week, I think this is really going to benefit them because our greatest chance for maybe getting over a foot of snow will be in the mountains. And to be more specific, some models are really highlighting the White Mountains in New Hampshire. So we're going to monitor that pretty closely as well. I'm selfishly hoping that the mountains get slammed with this one for Friday to Saturday. And yeah, I could go either way with rain, snow at the coast. I just want snow in my backyard. I live inland a little bit though, so maybe I'm being a little selfish perhaps. But there's the storm kind of pulling away as we go into probably Saturday afternoon, and Sunday's the better of the 2 days this upcoming weekend. All right, forecast for the 7-day. There it is. Let's run through it together real quickly. Let me take my mug out of here. Tomorrow we'll see a lot of sun, a little breezy. Could be a rain or snow shower on Wednesday. Temps to upper 30s. The wind is active as well. I wish I had put the wind. I need to put the wind on there on Wednesday. We'll get some gusts around 30. Thursday, more clouds and sun. The next storm gets going Friday. There probably will be a rain snow line somewhere along the coastal plain. There's some reliable guidance suggesting, the whole thing stays a little farther out in the ocean. That would bring a colder scenario. That would bring us all snow. I'm not really buying into that right now, though. I think it's probably a rain snow line somewhere along the coastal plain and more in the way of some snow over the interior. One thing we need to talk about is the potential for some wind for Friday night. And if we do get a pasty snow, that's something we're monitoring as well. I mean, there's a lot of things that are on the table with this. There's snow, plowable snow, especially over the interior, half foot to a foot, certainly possible in this sort of setup. Wind Friday night, I could see some gusts, maybe upwards of 40 miles an hour. That could bring some outages. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. The back edge of that rain snow moves out. My guess midday Saturday is a lot of guidance suggesting it may linger throughout the day Saturday, but it might be one of those setups where it's moving a little bit faster than we anticipate. With drier air or dry slot trying to get in here at some point midday Saturday. So the afternoon may end up being better than the morning. Bottom line here is it's just something we need to probably keep a close eye on in the coming days because it is Monday and is the first storm of the season. And a lot of folks are very excited including this guy right here. So we're hoping we get some snow out of this. I am, at least. All right. I hope I answer all your questions. I actually have to run. So I'm not going to have some time to kind of sit back and answer everybody's questions right now. And I apologize for that, but I hope I kind of outlined everything pretty well for you here tonight. And we'll, of course, kind of a much more detailed wrap up as we get closer to the storm. Wednesday, we'll get some numbers out for you. And we'll have a much better idea as we get closer. All right. Looks like a lot of people are checking in on Facebook. So thanks for checking in, guys. And more updates tomorrow. All right. Take care. Christian has more updates in the morning as well. Have a nice night.